Hello YouTube world, it is Liam, the Deaf Dude Metalhead, and I'm doing a metal CD collection update, but not just any old bunch of random albums. This is all from one record label. So before I get into it, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's been watching my videos. This month in May will be 1 year of this channel's existence, and that's, you know, pretty cool. But also the fact I'm only one subscriber away from 666, which is, you know, the most evil number in the world, and you know, you've got to have it, haven't you? So hopefully I'll get that in the next week or so. But again, thank you to everyone that's got me to that number, because it's just unreal, and I won't brag on about it or anything like that because no one really cares. But for me personally, it's a massive achievement, and anyone who enjoys these videos, you know, I'm really fucking grateful. And anyone that comments and recommends new music, all that kind of thing, you know, that's what it's all about for me. It's just talking about music. It's just being a bit nerdy and talking about music I like, showing bands I like. And then the feedback I get from comments and that is what makes it totally worthwhile, because in this year I've discovered so many more bands than just doing it myself. I'm a background kind of guy in real life. I don't put myself centre stage and, you know, centre of attention. I'm not that kind of person. But the fact I'm doing this, I put my face on the internet for people to absolutely rinse me, especially people who don't get it and know me personally. They, you know, go, what the hell are you doing that for? It's a complete waste of time. You know, for me personally, I'm getting loads out of it because I get new recommendations in music. I'm making new friends online, as corny as that sounds as an adult, and it's just loads of fun. So yeah, thank you to everyone that checks out these videos. So moving on, before I forget anything though, you need to go and check out this YouTube channel. Chris, above my head, that should pop up here, from Audio Obsession. He's a Canadian, has just started his own channel, and he is very much cut from the same kind of cloth as me. He's an old school death metal guy. He's into loads of cool bands. And he's also been around the scene from its kind of infant stages and upwards. So he's kind of like, you know, one of those guys that's seen the thrash scene, the death metal scene, the black metal scene. He's seen it all as it's grown throughout the years. So he's got loads of knowledge. And his first video he put up is very, very good, considering it's his first time doing it. You know, I can't recommend his channel enough, and I'm really looking forward to his future videos. So thank you, Chris, for checking out my videos. I know you mentioned me in the video, but more importantly, to everyone watches this, go check out Chris. I'll also leave a link below so you can go sub him and tell him I sent you. But the whole point of this video anyway is CDs, and this is amazing. So like other YouTube channels, people send people CDs to check out, and I didn't think I'd ever be that kind of person, because one, I'm a nobody in my head. Two, you know, who cares? But I'm going to get it right. Waldemar from the label Morbid Records in Poland messaged me to say, can I send you some CDs to check out? Because the ones you did for my last year releases were really good, and I really enjoyed it. Because, you know, I buy music, and I buy music from all sorts of different labels, and his label is a Polish label that stocks loads of really good CD presses of bands that normally release it digitally, and if they're really good, he'll put them out on the CD, which is, you know, how it should be. And all these ones he sent me essentially were digital releases to start with, or, you know, released on tape, and he's gone and done it on CD, which is amazing. So a massive thank you to Waldemar at Morbid Records. I'll obviously leave a link below so you can check these guys out, and as we go through this video, because he's an amazing bloke, and I cannot thank him enough for doing this for me. So the first band is a band from Seattle, Washington. Now this was put out last year through Caligari Records on tape, but this year it's been put out on CD, and that is the band Noroth, with the album It Dwells Amongst Us. This is proper death metal, like old school death metal at its finest. I'll try not to get a glare on these. I mean, I was going to buy this myself, but he actually sent it to me, is even better. This, by the way, all these cases here are my old cases. He sent them without cases, which is brilliant, saves on postage. You know, every label should really do that, unless you're willing to pay. So ignore all the shitty cases, they're all random. But this album is super, proper old school death metal, and it's just very riffy. If you're fans of bands like Tomb Mold, Autopsy, that kind of style of death metal, you know, these guys have kind of got that kind of crunch to it. There's a bit of doom in there, a tiny bit, but it's very, very riffy, and I'm absolutely loving this. And it was one that was on my want list anyway, so to have it now, it came out this year through Morbid Records on CD, but like I say, it was pressed on tape by Caligari. But yeah, really good solid death metal from America. You know, there's so many bands doing it at the moment, so there's nothing too excitingly different to talk about. But if you're a fan of just solid death metal and you want something that's just, you know, you're going to put on, you're going to enjoy, give these guys a go, because it's very, very good. So that's Noroth. The next one is from Hungary, Another one that I really wanted because, you know, it's different. This one's very different to say this, the one I just showed you. The band is called Oz, O-S, and the album is called that. I'll obviously put it down below because I can't pronounce it. Stationus Biomortis, something like that. So these guys are from Budapest in Hungary, and this is very good, what I would say blackened death metal, but the root of it is death metal. But what I like about this is it's more adventurous. There's lots of different elements going on. It's got some spoken word kind of parts. It's got the black metal elements in there. There's kind of some operatic vocals from a female in there. The soundscapes kind of change it up a bit. It's very different. Not every song is the same. There's about 4 tracks. Yeah, 4 tracks, and none of them I can pronounce. But it's just solid. Absolutely solid. Really enjoyable album. Couldn't tell you who's in the band because I don't know. I looked on Metal Encyclopedia and there's no mention of it anywhere of what members there are. But what I will say, there is a sound. It does sound like Attila from Mayhem is doing the vocals on this. I mean, I'm only putting 2 and 2 together because he's from Hungary and it's a Hungarian band, so maybe. But I don't know. He does sound like he's on here though. It was just some certain parts of it just kind of clicked in my ear, and I thought, oh, it sounds like him. So you know, if anyone knows anything else about this band, obviously let me know. But this was digitally released last year. But Morbid Chapel Records are putting it out this year on CD, and this is brilliant, really, really good, very enjoyable listen. So if you're into your black and death metal, give that a go. I'll obviously leave links below. Next one is a band from Alabama. I think it's Birmingham, Alabama, they're based. This was released, I'm using my notes over here by the way, released 2019, and this was put out in 2020 on CD. It's a 2-track demo EP by the band Sephoric Entombment. Probably butchered the name of that, but the EP is called Quelled. But it's only 2 tracks of really raw, natural sounding death doom. So I think this is a live recording, I'm fairly sure it is, but it's very, very strong, very good 2 tracks. It's the inside there. But yeah, if you like your death doom like I do, you know, this was going to be a no-brainer, and this was on my want list for quite a while. When I saw it in his on his label, you know, you're not getting a lot for your money, say with just 2 tracks. So I don't know why many people would maybe not buy this just for 2 tracks. But if you're in the market for some really good death doom that you might not have heard before, give these guys a go, because when they do put a full length out, it'll be very, very riffy. There's lots of riffs on this EP, and I can't recommend it enough. I'm really enjoying that one as well. Very easy listen when you're out in the car. But you have to have the disc change, otherwise, you know, 2 tracks, you're not going to get very far. Now, next one is some black metal. Now, last year I really opened my mind to black metal, and as the 12 months have gone by, I've really got into it. Now, kind of the only thing I can't get into is that really raw, nasty black metal, like that war-torn kind of thing, or what's it called, war metal, stuff like that. That still passes me by. I really struggle with that, should I say. But this is superb. This is my kind of black metal. This is the band Ancient Flame, the album Tyrant Blood. This was put out in 2019, and this was released through Morbid Chapel Records directly on CD. I think this is on other formats, but I think this was a digital release to start with, and then they pressed it onto CD. Now, this is a one-man project, as most black metal bands are, but what's really cool is all done by the guitarist from the doom band Crypt Sermon. So if you know them, they're like an epic-y doom kind of band with traditional metal thrown in, and a bit of new wave of British heavy metal kind of sound to them as well. But he's also a black metal guitarist, and he does everything in this, the drums, vocals, everything he set up himself, and it's very, very good. I was listening to this, I had no idea who they were before I researched it. I was just enjoying the music for what it was, and it kind of had that kind of tone to Crypt Sermon, because I really like Crypt Sermon. And this is a solid album. It's not one of those raw sounding things. It's really well produced, really enjoyable. And like I say, it's a band I never heard of before. I mean, the cover tells you nothing. You literally have to read the side, but it's just, give this a listen. This is very good black metal. For a one-man project, for a guitarist who's in a doom band, it's really refreshing to see him, because I've been trying to do that in my music, kind of put some more blackened influences in there. This guy knows what he's doing, and you know, very good. The leads on this are superb, so go give them a try. Right, next one is an Italian death metal band with a hilarious name, and I couldn't resist. You know, this was on my one list anyway. Congenital Deformity. with the Progenesis of Cemetery. I'm shit at pronouncing album names, but you'll read it anyway and probably laugh as I read it. So this is, like I say, death metal. This has been pressed on different formats, repressed on cassette by a number of different labels. But Morbid Chapel Records in 2020 put this out on CD. And again, it's just really fun death metal, you know, nothing too fancy to it. Very underground, but also very natural sounding death metal. If you know Italians and their death metal, it's very to the point, very raw. Doesn't sound like any American style. They kind of have their own style to it. They're not nicking from anything else. And yeah, I'm really enjoying this. This is again very easy to listen to. There is 4 tracks, and each track is about just under 5 minutes long each. You won't be able to see that. You might see it there. But yeah, give that a go if you haven't tried that one before. Very fun death metal. And what's the next one we got? Oh yes, another black metal album here. This one, again, I put on my want list before I even heard from Waldemar, because I always make want lists a mile long for each label, and I kind of keep tabs on everything. This is, again, black metal from America, Portland, Oregon. A 5-piece, so it's not a one-man project. And this is Luctum with Ashes of Titans. Came out last year. And this, again, this is more rawer sounding black metal in the kind of Norwegian style of the 90s. They kind of have that influence there. They're not trying to change it up or anything like that. They are pretty much playing that 90s Norwegian black metal style. There's some synth kind of noises in there, there's some keys in there to kind of build the atmosphere and give this kind of dark atmosphere. And you've got that kind of production that would sound like a Mayhem album, or would sound like you know, these kind of bands from the 90s. I don't want to try and compare them too much to certain bands, because then you might get the wrong idea. So go down below in the links and have a listen yourselves. But again, if you like your black metal and you've never checked out Luctum before, well worth your time. You know, I really enjoyed this actually. This was quite fun, just to kind of listen to something a little bit different that I would normally never buy. And I had this on my want list as well, because I like well produced black metal, and this is well produced. It's done the right way. So give that one a go. And then the next one is a digipack that he sent within it, the parcel, and it was a band I never heard of before, like pretty much a lot of these. But this one was really cool because it's black metal again, but it's more progressive black metal. It's a bit more adventurous, a bit more atmospheric, and they kind of build different landscapes. It's not just harsh in your face black metal, there's kind of more to it than that. But what's more interesting is they're from Serbia, Belgrade, Serbia, and I haven't got any bands from Serbia, and that is the band Zloslut and the album Sahar. Now, I believe if you Google translate it, or if you read on their Bandcamp or something, I can't remember where I read it from, but if you translate the band name, it kind of means ominous, if that makes any sense. Now, I've never heard of these guys before, never checked them out before, and if I give the picture of the book, you'll get a picture of the band there. I mean, they were thinking about COVID before anyone else, judging by those masks. So, you know, well ahead, and then you've got some kind of wizard dude here throwing some shapes. But they put this out in 2019, and as you can see, this is a Morbid Chapel Records release, so you know they don't just do jewel cases, they do nice digipacks. And this is really good black metal. Again, a bit more adventurous, a lot longer as well. I think this is nearly an hour's worth of music on here. A lot more tracks going on there. And as a band, you can kind of see it. I believe this was a one-man project for many years, and then they became a full band and kind of progressed from there. So they've been around since 2010 by memory, and I've done a few releases, so they're not a new band by any stretch. But yeah, really good black metal. A bit more interesting. You've got some kind of natural progressive moments in there, and there's kind of like certain keys to kind of give it different tones and little interludes and bits like that. So you know, it's a really good experience to listen to this if you're in the mood for some dark, ominous black metal. So yeah, give that one Zloslut. Probably butchered that band name. And the last one is actually a band that Waldemar, the owner of Morbid Chapel Records, sings in this band. And he says, do you want to give these a go? And I went, you know, why not? You know, you're sending them for free. I'm more than happy to listen to certain bands if you think I'll like them. And he sent me his own band, and this is Morbid Winds. The first one, I believe this came out in 2019. Now, I won't lie, the artwork there is shocking. And if I was going to buy a CD, if I saw that, I probably wouldn't pick it up, just because I'm a snob for artwork. You know, if it doesn't draw me in with the artwork, it's going to have to really convince me to pick it up on music. This is called The Ruin of Forgotten Desolation, and this is obviously put out through his label. He's doing vocals on this. And this is very raw, natural sounding black metal, very much old school underground sounding black metal. So when you picture a band forming in the very early primitive stages, it's kind of got that sound to it to me. It's very raw, very nasty sounding. It's got a lot of synth kind of keys on it to kind of give it more that 90s feel to it, I guess they're trying to do. And this is very old school sounding black metal as well. It's not modern production sounding at all. It's very raw. And I really struggled with this one, if I'm being honest. I don't mind it, but when you compare it to some of these other black metal bands I was listening to, that they're so far apart in style and production, it was, you know, it's quite funny. But like I say, black metal in its truest form is very raw, natural sounding, angry music anyway. It's not modern produced, if you're going proper old school traditional sounding black metal. So if you want to kind of say you like that style more, this will probably be right up your alley. And he also sent me, ignore the crack in the case, is their 2021, I guess this is I don't know if this is an EP or a full length, I'm not sure, because it's only one track and it's 34 minutes long. And so this is the 2021, I'm going to say EP for now, with the album, and it's a really long title. The black corridors of the abyssal depths of existence opened their gates. You know, I mean, that's a really long title to try and remember if you're going into the store and you say, I want that album, you know, find that one for me. But, you know, again, the artwork is very similar to the first one. It's kind of done in that rustic, old school style. You know, I prefer this one more than that one though. But this was really interesting because it's only one track and it sounds like it's just recorded live and they've just kind of gone with it and they've just released it like that. And to be fair, if you can get away with playing a 34-minute track, that is really commendable, because as a band, from my experiences, trying to record something that long without fucking up or, you know, just losing interest is really difficult. So to do a 34-minute track, any other band or album I have like that is My Dying Bride's The Bar Test of Whitby, because that is just one solid track. But even on the EP, that's split to two sides to kind of get it to, you know, I guess you would do if you put this on vinyl as well, but yeah, it's just really bizarre thing to do for black metal especially. I wasn't expecting it just to be one track. I thought it'd be like a list of tracks like this one, but it's not. It's just one solid track and it just goes and goes, and I found it really hard to listen to at first, but the more I got into it, the more I can compare it to early Beherit, early Dark Throne of the black metal style anyway, not the death metal albums. So it was enjoyable in parts because it's such a long song. I was able to kind of pick out certain parts I liked, certain riffs, but because it's so long, you can't just kind of go back to that section, because I like to listen to albums all the way through when I listen to them physically. You know, if I'm doing a digital listen, I will change certain parts now and again, but when this is in the CD player, I don't skip it, fast forward it or nothing. I let it go through. And yeah, that was a challenge to listen to that all the way through, but I will say I did enjoy parts of it, so I'm going to give it a couple of listens, because it's not an easy listen, and I'll, you know, if I don't like it, I'll obviously put it in a competition or something like that. But you know, I think this was a really solid release, and like I say, if you're into that old school proper sounding black metal, the raw natural sound, give this a go. So yeah, so that is my pile of CDs from Morbid Chapel Records that Waldemar sent me, all there, links below. So again, thank you to Waldemar for sending this. Really do appreciate it. Not something I'm really used to doing on this channel or expected to ever do, but you know, if I really like the music, I'm going to talk about it, and I generally liked all those albums for many different reasons. So I'll leave links below and you can, you know, judge for yourselves. Obviously, please like and subscribe to this video if you're new to the channel, and any regulars that come by, obviously give us a comment below what you think. I'll obviously leave links below to Morbid Chapel Records so you can check all these out. He's put out the Warflurch EP from 2019, the really good Coffins EP, if you've never checked that out before, from somewhere in Eastern Europe. Really, really good though. And then he also put out the Fumes new split, or EP or whatever it is. That's also really good. You know, he puts out some quality releases. So again, thank you to everyone who's watched this video. Please take care, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Cheers.